So our dad's gonna explain what we're doing today.
I mean, there's apples in front of them.
Yeah, obviously you can see we have apples.
Yeah.
These apples are called cherry apples, and I'm going to.
No,
try
they're
to
not
sell
called
them.
cherries.
not.
They're not called cherry apples. They're just.
We
miniature.
don't know what they're called. They're a new
Rockets.
variety.
It's on the box.
Oh, right.
They have a name. No, but the whole idea is that we're gonna try a whole bunch of different apples
I have them
and
behind the camera.
compare what we think about the different kinds, their flavors. Because most of us, I think, a lot of us only really ever try a handful of apples. But if you look through the produce department, there's a whole bunch of different apples. And I'm sure they're all a little bit different flavors. So we wanted to kind of explore the apple spectrum.
Yeah, so we're gonna just.
So
every
first-
I'm
Yeah.
trademarking that. The apple spectrum.
And I'm going to try and bust
What do you
this
think?
apple open.
No, we're not.
No.
We're not doing that.
But you can't.
No,
That's-
stop.
stop.
Don't do that.
I cut
That's
the.
not a good way to eat apples.
Okay, I'm gonna cut mine up. I'm gonna cut mine up.
Oh, Daddy's not very well in the frame.
Oh my gosh, it's
I'm not.
hard.
Is this
It's
better?
hard.
Yeah, that's better.
This
Sorry,
is
I
hard.
might have been out of frame there.
You were completely.
I don't
out of
have a
frame,
camera
but, like,
person.
go like this. Mocha.
So yeah, we've done videos in the past where
I've already tried
we
some.
did taste tests, product reviews.
Oh,
with,
we even got a comment from Cheerios, was it?
That's right,
From one of the
Cheerios.
ones.
We shared it, I guess, on Twitter, and they commented or tweeted back at us,
They commented on the video.
which is really cool.
I think we
Did
also
they
had.
comment on YouTube? Maybe.
Yeah, and then so did International Delight, and they were supposed to have something good for us, but we didn't see it until YouTube stopped private messages. Where they said to private chat them.
Sad I missed that. But yeah, so we've done stuff like this before, but we thought, hey, why limit it to just like new varieties of
Well, this one is
cereal,
sort of new.
coffee creamer, or whatever?
This first
Why
apple
don't we
is
do
new.
some natural stuff? And yet we've got some of these are newer varieties of apples. This one I've never seen before and was labeled as new. And some of them are old classics.
Mocha,
So
you
this
were
is
not
sort of
eating
our-
apples.
Taste test, review, whatever you want to call it, for apples.
Hold on, let me scoop back. This
Making
one's a
little-
small apple.
Making little rings.
Well, hurry it up so everybody can try a piece of apple.
Okay, I'm gonna
You
just.
don't have to eat the whole apple for the video.
Yeah, just take a bite. This is one of the apples I'm actually gonna try. Everyone gets their own because they're so
eating.
small. But most of them we have to cut.
Yeah, some of the, because nobody's going to want to eat as
I'm gonna
many
do a
apples
little
as a
ring.
lot.
I'm gonna do
A
a
whole
little
We
ring.
apple
have
piece.
like 1, 2,
So
3,
some of them we're
4,
just going to
5,
pass around
6.
slices.
We have 8 plus this
These are
variety,
kinda
so
tiny.
we have 9 apples.
I'm gonna go ahead and try it. Mmm.
I like this one. It's sweet, it's crisp.
Okay, so what it says: crisp, sweet, miniature apples.
No, that's exactly what they said on the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Crisp, sweet, miniature apple.
The little apples, they're super cool. They're kind of like yellow right there.
Could be
Yeah,
handy for
yellow.
snacks for kids who are too little to eat a whole apple, maybe.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Robbie.
I feel like it's kind of reminiscent of maybe a gala.
I know. I don't know what they're called, but it's close to one apple that I really like, but smaller.
You want to pass around another variety?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm choosing them behind here. Hold on, let me show them the apple. These are bigger. The next apples are going to be bigger.
Oh, that's an old classic.
Red Delicious. It's
Red
called.
Delicious. It's like the stereotypical what people think of when they think of apples these days anymore.
I'm not trying any more apples, I don't think. I'm just going to finish my small apple.
I'm not even sure if we don't want to cut both of each apple in the pear.
We might have some more apples for a snack.
Yeah. This is a healthy video.
There you go, a healthy video.
Look.
Good
Yeah,
for
that one
green
got the
apples.
sticker on it, didn't it?
Just gotta cut the apples. Oh, by the way, guys, I got fake nails from the Dollar Tree. Very cool.
So everybody, try one of these and what do you think? How does it compare to?
Ready?
Good.
Set.
Try your Red Delicious. I didn't know what to
Eat it. I think I like this one better.
Really?
Oh.
They're sweet, and I guess they're kind of a juicy
Can you cut
apple.
me a tiny slice out of yours?
Well, I technically do have a
I mean,
kind of
obviously there's a
woman
reason that
right
they've
now.
been a classic, a favorite for years and years.
I like the small one
But
better.
they've never really been one of my favorites. Like, I just feel like some other
They're not
apples have more
sweet.
flavor.
They're not
Yeah.
as sweet.
Not
I
sweet, you think?
like sweeter apples like this. Like
It's
rocket.
not tart.
No, but it's just not as sweet.
It's definitely a sweet apple. It's like I said, it's juicy. Nothing wrong with it. But it's never been one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Okay.
I either.
So I'm picking out the next apple.
What do you think?
It says
This
Glado.
one's still better.
You think the new ones go? The
It
rocket
says Glado. What
Oh.
is that apple one?
Gala?
Yellow.
That's one that I've always thought was a favorite. I said one that kind of reminds me of
The smaller apples?
this small one. Kind of reminds me of this one, I think. But I'll try this one again, and then I'll try another piece of the other one and kind of compare.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I thought it'd be nice to kind of get them all together. Like sometimes it's harder to compare things in your memory when you bought one apple this week, you bought a different variety of apples the next week.
Yeah. Like we're doing
It
everything.
took him like
variety.
3-ish weeks, I think, to buy all these apples.
You mean to get around to? I bought most of them in one trip.
Yeah.
This one's a little soft.
This one a little bit softer. It's not.
Is this actually called an opal, or is that the brand name?
That's the kind of apple.
Okay.
I feel like though that it's softer than is typical. Like maybe these are not as
I don't think these are
fresh of a
fresh.
gala.
I don't think this is like the most fresh I've had. Mine does not
We
taste good.
eat more galas than any others, I guess.
I really like this one,
Try
but it's
this.
hard to say because I'm not sure this is the best example of a gala.
It just tastes like a good peanut butter gala.
Okay.
It tastes like an apple that might have been slightly bruised or just left sitting around too long
Yeah.
from the harvest. I mean, it's not bad, but I don't think it's as good as other galas I've had, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it is kind of similar to this one, I think.
Kinda.
I guess you didn't
But
have
I
to
really
buy
like this
2
little
apples
rocket
each.
apples.
Me too. I think so far I like the rocket apple the most.
Make sure to subscribe to my channel.
It doesn't mean a big
Our
difference.
channel.
Yeah, our
Yeah, all of our channels.
Also, guys,
channel.
coming out soon is my new gaming channel. Well, technically, all I have to do is post a video, but I have it actually. It just doesn't have a video.
I am gonna
So
make
it
my
won't
own
come up.
channel.
But
Well,
my channel.
One, which is
I'm trying to shout out my channel. It doesn't have the
one shout
screenshot
out at
yet,
a time.
but my channel is called Rosita Plays, and the Plays is a Z, not an S.
yeah. And mine is gonna be Amy Plays because I wanted to do close to hers.
That's gonna be weird and funny. It'll make sense though when you do crossover videos and you're on there together.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're just gonna have an
Funny.
extra friend.
My
We're gonna make sure-
videos are going to be
It's all friends.
The reason they're Rosita and Annie is because it's part of our usernames.
Yeah.
So can we get more apples?
Oh yeah.
Oh, were we gonna do the opal?
Oh yeah. Opal. I forgot to show it to you guys. Whatever. It's
This was another one that
golden apple.
they think should be really fancy because like the only place I saw these was in a bag. They were bagged apples with like fancy marketing, kind of like these rockets were all only in these little tubs. So I guess maybe this is a newer apple. They think it's supposed to be fancy, or they want you to think it's fancy anyway.
Just put it on his plate. I don't want the core. Let's see. Ah! Picking the apple that's gonna be next.
It's very sweet.
And
video I was gonna post, but I think I might delete for my channel.
I
Because
wonder
I
what's
need in my
different about
house.
between these two.
I need your help when we go back home to learn how to edit so we can post a video.
It's a different flavor.
I might do some Pokemon videos.
The rocket is a little more. I don't know, by comparison to this, I almost would say it's tangy, but it's not.
Like it's
not
not
like it's
tangy,
sour.
but it's just it's just
Well, just enough tang. It's very flavorful. This is.
excuse me.
It's just very sweet. In a sense, maybe it's a little. I'm not very helpful if I can't describe what I'm tasting, right?
Exactly. All you said is it's kind of tangy.
No, these were the rocket, but this is not.
Oh.
It's just like sweet, very sweet.
I love that one.
Sweeter than the Red Delicious, or
I think that one's better than this one.
that's probably one of the sweetest apples I think I've ever tasted, actually.
Don't put yours on mine, are you?
I'm sorry.
If you put his apple on mine.
Okay, are you guys ready for the next apple?
Yeah, what are they called?
Hold on. Honey Crisp.
Jesus Mocha.
I like Honey Crisp.
Mocha, stop going underneath the table.
It's a very popular one.
Cut it up. That came out harsh.
Well, here, wait till Granny
Mocha?
Smith comes, because I know we have Granny Smith.
She
Mocha
loves
is our
Granny
dog.
Smiths.
Yeah, I love Granny Smith.
Mocha
Mocha
is
is our
apples.
dog, just so you know.
Yeah, he's our dog.
In
He's
the
so
back-
famous.
An occasional guest on our channel.
He's usually in the background on the couch.
Trying to grab something.
In the background right now we have
Is the
our
lucky
kitten house.
kitten that gets to be in this video.
Get it off the table. You're treating it you're treating
Oh,
it
it's
bad
fine.
habits. Also, our cat bad habits because if they're allowed, then they should be too, right?
This is
It's nice and
the
crisp.
Green Mansion.
Jesus.
Sweet,
It's
not
for a
as sweet
video.
as the.
Meow. Meow, 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 meow.
Oh, hello, Hope.
Meow, 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 meow.
She's
meow.
like, put me back. I'm tired.
meow, 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 meow.
I don't think she was even in the view.
The one you just saw was Tom.
No, Rachel. Before Hope,
Wrong.
the gray one.
Guys, so one like equals one chicken for you.
It's not quite as.
So
It's not as
one
sweet as the opal, not as tangy as the rocket. It's kind of in between, but really crisp. I noticed there's a little difference to the texture.
Tom.
actually called
Like some of them have almost a grain to them. Like this has a little bit of a coarser grain. The Red Delicious definitely does, but the rocket is just very smooth.
Meow. Meow, meow,
The
meow,
flesh
meow,
is just
meow.
really smooth.
Stop putting kittens on the table.
I love the kittens. This is Tom. We made you guys can
kitten.
find these.
Whoa, knife.
You guys can adopt these.
Yep.
We made a kitten man.
Okay,
Kitten
not
for
your
the
one
kitten.
and two.
Yeah, that's why
and
there's
we
box
like
behind
to
it. Boxes
leave on
behind
the
us.
video.
It's the kitten mansion.
They've been
Dad,
building
Dad, much kittens
a
I
play
can get
place
for
for
you.
the
I-
kittens.
Is this actually called
So
Envy?
if you want 100
Envy,
kittens,
yeah.
like
Envy and
I don't think I've ever tried it.
if you can.
neither have I don't think.
They're sticking its butt at the camera. This kitten's sticking its butt out the camera. And this kid just yawned and is looking at the sticker.
Would you like to go back to your place now?
It was looking at the stickers. It was looking at the stickers.
Help! 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 Help!
And the all gray kitten is stars.
This one is
Yeah,
Hope.
because it likes to look at the
Okay,
stars.
put it back. Put it back in its little mansion.
So this is the Envy.
Some of the kittens are really feisty. Feisty means they bite a lot.
I feel like this is closer to the opal. And it's got less tang or whatever to it. and more sweet, but it's not as sweet as the opal.
I wonder how many people
What do
are
you think?
actually gonna watch this video.
Anybody have a favorite so far? This
I
one?
don't
Your
know.
favorite? The Envy?
Kind of tastes like, to me, it kind of tastes like a peach.
Are my pencils getting in the way?
Kind of tastes
No,
like
no,
a
no.
peach. I'm not sure I would relate an apple to a peach.
I don't know, but
There was an apple that I used to think tasted like peach. I don't remember what it was called. It might actually be the Envy.
I don't know, it's really... It's a sweeter apple. Sort of like the opal, but not as sweet as the opal.
I really like the
Pass
walk.
this another. We've got a number of apples to get through here.
It's
oh
my
my goodness.
Don't eat too much, or y'all gonna
favorite.
Be
get
full.
full before we get to taste all the apples.
I'm kind of.
There's a lot of apples, trust
I've
me.
been waiting for this video until this morning. I didn't eat breakfast, so I could eat.
And there's a lot of apples that weren't available about this time of year. I didn't even see any Golden Delicious, and that's a pretty common one. There's
Granny Smith.
Macintosh is more
Yay.
likely to be
Literally called
seasonal.
Granny Smith.
Empire. I love Empire apples for making like
Now let me put my pencils back.
apple butter.
Get in there, Blue. Sorry. Irrelevant.
But they tend to come around in the fall when they're in season. They're not really available most of the year. So yeah, there's a lot of apples that even around here might be available, but they're not in the stores right now.
Or they
And
just weren't when
if you
did.
counted all the varieties that exist, there are hundreds of them. Many of them are you would probably never see in a store.
Yeah, there's way too much apples.
Granny Smith.
So Granny Smith, this is a favorite of mine.
If we let you see
I hate
how
Granny
much apples
Smith.
we
They're too
have,
tart for me.
you are probably going to
This is
pass
another one that
out.
I feel like this particular apple is not as fresh.
Good thing I'm not eating it.
Still good.
It's more sour.
Granny Smith is probably about the most tart of the sweet apples you buy in the store.
Especially
I mean,
those
there
we
are
have.
varieties of like crab apples and stuff that are just used for making jellies that are so tart you wouldn't want to eat them.
They couldn't see my
Incidentally-
face, dang it.
There was a real Granny Smith.
A what?
It's named after an actual lady that people call Granny Smith.
So it's named after. It's not a coincidence.
It's named after her, the actual Granny Smith of the Granny Smith apple.
Oh, the apple.
This can actually be called jazz
I mean, they're still
apple.
sweet, but they're most of you are probably familiar with the Granny Smith. But like by comparison to all these others,
This cannot be
it's the
called
most
a jazz apple.
tartness in it.
That's called.
It is called a jazz apple.
That's a weird name for an apple.
It is. It is. It's
Okay, you guys ready for a jazz apple?
rocket. I kind
Ah,
of
focus.
Rocket,
There
like
it
it's
goes.
going.
I think too because by not being as fresh, this Granny Smith is not as tart as some Granny Smiths are.
Yeah. It's pretty tart though. So.
But some things I feel like the tartness just goes really well with.
Somebody broke the rock on the pity one.
It's because you took so long to get some of the apples.
Yeah, not
You
just
got a whole
rock.
bunch in one run, and then you waited forever, and then got some from.
No, I got them all together. All but like one of them I picked up like the next day or so.
Right?
None of these have been sitting around
Can
that
you
long.
cut this
But a lot of apples, by the
We're
time they
meant to
get to
do
the
this
store
video
shelf,
today.
have been sitting around longer than others.
We actually didn't we were supposed to film this video yesterday, but then we ran out of time.
I'm not gonna know when
With
yesterday was.
Technicalities of life.
Alright, so this is the jazz apple.
I think the jazz apple is my favorite.
It's a sweeter apple.
You win. Hope is playing.
Why is some of that opal still sitting around? Where'd the opal go? Oh, I must have sliced it all up. This is it, isn't it?
apple.
I still think the opal is perhaps the sweetest I've tried.
What about that apple though? Like, what's up with that?
It's pretty sweet too.
Why did I say what's up with that?
Maybe a little more flavor.
What the heck does that say?
Ambrosia Gold.
That's what they're about to eat. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys. Yep, focused. Not very focused on Rachel's face because Rachel and her side face are covered up.
A lot of these are not terribly different from one another.
My plate is way too small. I don't think I can
A lot of these are sort of in the middle, subtly different from one another.
Not a big plate. Come on.
I feel like a lot of these newer ones are sweeter, which makes me feel like that must be like the way
Thank you.
that popularity is trending. Like people are just looking for a sweet apple. Yeah?
Hope is attacking the box
Oh well.
from the inside.
Yeah.
That's why we had to give her a bigger room.
And that's maybe why we have to put a
Did everybody get a piece? Ambrosia? Si, you're gonna try your ambrosia?
Mmm.
That's new.
It is really sweet, but it's got more of a flavor, but it's not a tangy flavor.
I think we have 2 more apples.
Hmm. That is
This
pretty
plate.
good.
It looks like so.
Yeah.
Almost apples are fun.
I like the flavor of this one. It's hard to put my finger on. It's not as tangy, but it's more flavor
Rebecca,
in
your
a sweet
kitten
apple.
is keeping my kitten from going to sleep.
Sorry.
What's next?
It's called Pink Lady.
Pink
No, I
Lady.
know it's not fun.
That is a weird name for an apple. Then again, it's kind of pink.
Yeah, it's kind of a pinkish apple. Got a little bit of that blush going on where it's like different areas are reddish and greenish and a lot of pink going on in there. Yep.
Pink lady.
Ah. We'll see.
Who's going to be hungry for dinner though? It's
Yeah.
5:25.
Oh my gosh, this is tangy. Oh my gosh.
Guys, comment down below what you think this is going to taste like.
I just said it's tangy.
Tangy, yeah.
Mm.
Not nearly as
Real
much as like a Granny Smith, but it's a little bit tangier than most of the sweet apples.
What? I can't tell what the name of this
Nice
is.
change because a lot of these have just been on the sweeter side.
What's this name?
I don't know. Is there another one with it?
No. Yeah. I almost said no.
I'm pretty sure its name is blah blah
It's
blah
the
blah
same
blah
thing.
blah blah blah.
Is it just named New York? No, I'm kidding.
I think that's the company. Oh, there it is. In that print. Fuji.
Oh.
Fuji.
I'll show you the one he doesn't have in his hands.
I actually was getting my apples from the school because they were giving us apples, and there's a whole bag of Fuji apples that I got to take home with me.
Whoops.
The bag. Did you guys
Did I
look at that in
miss?
the trash?
I think I hit it and I think it bounced off though.
This is an apple.
No, because we need to change the trash. That's why.
Yeah, because it's an apple.
Because it's an apple.
Yeah.
because it's an apple.
Apples bounce. Apples are bouncing. Oh, apples are the bounciest fruit. I don't think that's true.
I know the bouncy is fruit.
A ball.
Goji berry. I don't know. I just made that up. I mean, it's a real fruit.
I also made up that a ball is a fruit.
Hmm.
Like a playing ball.
Goo is the bounciest.
It's not as bouncy as a ball.
This is sweeter
Look.
and not as tangy as I
Did it
thought I
come
remembered a
out?
Fuji being.
No, didn't drop.
I was thinking that they had kind of a bit of a tang to them, but I guess maybe I remembered wrong. What do you think?
Hold on. Can you guys hear that?
Why are you doing that during our video on Apple?
ASMR.
Guys,
She's
wait.
clicking with her new long fake nails.
I got it yesterday at Dollar Tree.
It's good. It's sweet. It falls somewhere in the
Look.
middle of the
That's-
sweeter apple
wow.
spectrum that we've been had.
That's the last apple.
Robbie, don't do that because they're
The
gonna
one
be
you're
green.
eating is the last one.
There's no more apples?
No more apples.
Good.
I thought there was something else.
I can't find another one.
I'm sure.
There's
Oh, I
only one
see that.
apple left.
Oh, never
I
mind.
want to have to go
What?
to the bathroom.
You only have one apple left.
There's so much apples.
All of them
Are you
that have one
serious?
apple are done.
Why is there so much apples?
There's more apples in the kitchen.
I don't think so.
Why did he say?
Maybe. Why is there so many apples?
Oh.
Maybe this is all of them. So what do you think? Does anybody have a favorite?
I didn't try all of them, so I just think Rocket's the best.
No.
I do really like this rocket. I'm a little surprised that some of the ones that stood out to me the most were some of the newer ones.
Hey!
Hmm.
Stop biting me!
I'm ripping.
Although,
the
like I said, I think
slime
that
part.
opal was probably the sweetest apple I've ever had. And so for that, it was pretty nice.
So what's your favorite?
You know, I've always liked apple pies and stuff that are made with a tartar apple, like a Granny Smith.
I like that
Daddy,
because
But
you make it.
my mom, your nutty, used to make an apple
Daddy.
pie. Like everybody raved over and thought this
Daddy.
was like the best. Like, it was different from all the other apple pies they've had. Hold on a second. And it was she used Red Delicious. She used a sweet apple to make. Because a lot of people do use the tart, and I guess a lot of people just really like that added sweetness. Even though, like I like the tart flavor, but I wonder what it'd be like if you made an apple pie with opal
Come out.
apples
Come out.
that are already so sweet on their own.
Go into the living room.
People who like the sweeter apple
all.
pie,
Excuse
I
me.
wonder if they would really go in for that. What do you think?
I'm taking another rocket apple. Almost dropped
Of
the
course,
apple.
it's a whole other question how an apple cooks. Like some apples keep a better texture when they bake, and some just kind of fall apart.
Rachel, what was that face?
So, Robbie, what do you think?
I think it feels good.
Did you have a favorite? 2 or 3 favorites?
My most favorite is this apple.
The rocket.
Look, stare into the camera.
We may have found a new favorite. Everybody seems,
You
a lot
look
of people seem
creepy.
to like the rocket. What do you think, Rachel?
Rocky.
Rocket's
These
your
are the
favorite?
rockets with the yellow on it.
I really like the variety. Sometimes I feel like a tangier apple, and sometimes I like a sweeter apple. But the rocket is a really good one. That's gonna be one of my top favorite apples now.
You're gonna buy it more often, right?
And the opal, like I said, it really stood out to me as the sweetest apple. And sometimes you just want something that's really sweet. But you know, sometimes I crave something like the Granny Smith that's like really tart.
Stop dropping things in the background.
Josiah, hop over here and give us your summary.
Daddy, why is my jacket still
It's a
soaking?
pin.
I took it
It
out of the
depends.
bucket.
For me, there's a picture button over
So
Daddy's
you're kind of like
face.
me. You think that sometimes you're in a mood for one kind of apple, sometimes you're in a mood for another one.
Uh-huh.
Did any of these stand out as favorites to you?
Rocket.
The rocket was a really good one.
Uh-huh.
What else? Did you like one that was tangier? The rocket was a really nice balance. It's got a little bit of a tang to it. Not much. It's mostly sweet, but just a little bit of a tang. Did you like one of the others though? It was
This apple.
which one was that?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? Doesn't do you
what
any good if
apple?
you don't remember which one you're eating. How am I gonna buy more of them for you if I don't know what it's called? You don't remember which apple that was?
Did you just call it the F apple?
No. Where did
Oh.
you get that?
It sounded like that from all the way over here. If that's what he meant the yeah or something. How'd you say that?
Hold still before you eat all the skin that we can look at. See if it matches one of these that we've still got over here. Does it look like
Oh, I moved the
Fuji?
camera.
or I don't know.
I think it looks more like the Fuji.
I couldn't.
Is it the Fuji you think?
Or maybe it's
The Fuji was sweeter than I expected or than I remembered. Are we ready to wrap up? Where'd Rachel go?
And Robbie, where'd they go?
Rachel, Robbie, were you gonna wrap up the video with us or did you just leave?
I accidentally moved the camera.
I hope you didn't mess anything up. Well, we're not gonna wait for them to come back. We're gonna wrap up without them.
Yeah, because this video is
Decide
31
now.
minutes long.
What do you think you should tell our viewers? Eat more apples, they're good for you?
Eat your apples, kids.
Like the video if you like exploring the apple spectrum with us.
Trademark that.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe, and turn on the post notification bell.
Oh, turn on post notification bell.
And
okay.
also, I prefer for you guys not to do this because you might get a stomachache.
I think they should try
I'm full.
it. You're full. Are they good?
Mm-hmm.
Fun video. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.